Welcome back here, 2014 NCPA Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. We'll be calling the games all weekend long for you. Man, what an awesome first game we watched. Liberty University Flames came back, put the beat down on the Pirates. They just couldn't hang in the second half. Next up, coming at you, got the Kennesaw State Owls going to be taking on the Cornell University Big Red. And Todd, you know, wide open on this field, man. It's going to be pretty crazy. It's the same layout we saw at the Dallas PSP pretty much, and we saw how awesome that was. So, you know, is it going to be Cornell? Is it going to be Kennesaw State? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah, I mean, Kennesaw State, they've been here before. Cornell, I think this is their first time playing up in the big leagues here in college as they go 3 bodies to the snake side, take the snake on the break, get in there right away, as does Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State charging up that Dorito side, going 3 heavy to the Dorito side, and right away, coming right around and bunkering out Tyler Whitehead, I believe.
Yeah, so Kennesaw State getting bunkered out there. So is it Cornell that made the move?
Yeah, Gautier.
Yeah.
Gautier makes that move. Oh, and there goes number 22, Timmy Roberts of Kennesaw State, getting shot in the pack on the wrap from the snake side corner.
Yeah, but Kennesaw State with better field position in the center, but he gets taken out. So now Cornell looking good over here on the snake side, trying to get a player into the 40-yard line on this side of the field, able to do it. And then you can see the D side on your screen right now for Cornell, or sorry, for Kennesaw.
Yeah, Rodriguez comes walking off the field as well for Kennesaw State. Oh, getting shot out of the snake right there for Cornell. That was Scott St. Peter. So 1 body left alive over here on the snake side. Coming down the field, that's Ryan Kane of Kennesaw State. It looks like a 2-on-1, and Kennesaw State able to execute. Ryan Kane coming down the snake side of the field with help from Cameron Enriquez.
Yeah, battle back and forth there. Bodies dropping, you know, out of their bunkers, dropping on moves, and you know, as these teams field each other out. And minute 30 went off the clock on that first point, but first to strike was Kennesaw State, as they did have a 1-body advantage there towards the end of that point. And you're looking at the action in the snake there, boom, as you know, Kennesaw getting run down by Cornell. And then here on the D side, last player left alive for Cornell, he gets taken out. So Kennesaw State, nice job. Cameron Enriquez was the last player left alive on the D side for them.
Yeah, good execution right there, man. You know, we talk about it all the time, you know, in those high body situations where you have the 2-on-1, the 3-on-2 advantage. It's always super important to be able to communicate. You know, right there, you know, as Cornell just kept attacking that snake, throwing those bodies in there, you know, they got that kill out of the middle and then attacked that snake right away. But, you know, communicating very well all the way across the field from the Dorito side to the snake side. After getting that kill on the snake side, Kennesaw State able to execute that 2-on-1 and close it out.
Yeah, so let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Amy Campbell, and she wants to break down the depth of these 2 teams. Big disparity there.
Yeah, actually, there's not as much disparity as people think. The Kennesaw State guys were telling me we only have 8 guys here. They have a lot more. We're going to come at them. We're going to try to stay fresh and do our best. But really, the Cornell guys, they have 7 guys. Kennesaw State doesn't know that. They might know it now. Normally, more guys play with Cornell, but they're only down to 7. So how much fatigue do you think is going to play a factor in this one, Maddie?
Well, Amy, we're in Florida, and it's pretty nice out right now, but if the humidity starts kicking in here, you know, you're playing 2 halves, you play a lot of games out here at the NCPA Championships. And so, you know, it is interesting because when you're looking at these rosters that I have in front of me here, Kennesaw State, though they have 8 and Cornell has 7, still, though, the depth kind of comes down to the pit crew. It seems like Kennesaw has a lot more bodies in there to help fill paint, fill air, wipe hits off, and help with game plans. And that actually means a lot. So we'll see if that comes into play as Cornell able to get into the snake right away. And there's so many good shots from that 50-yard line when those bodies stack up with the opposite team in the center of the field.
Yeah, and Cornell slides into the 50 snake right away and gets a shot in on number 25 of Kennesaw State over there on the Dorito side. Gets another kill. 2nd game in a row going straight to the snake on the break. That's Gautier just doing work and then crawls around the 50 and just blows number 45, Steven Torres, to bits. Torres had no idea. 2 bodies left alive, and Gautier is going to get shot. Oh, it looks like his whole team except for one body over there on the Dorito side, died behind him. So Gautier doing work, but another 2-on-1 for Kennesaw State with that lost body over there on the Dorito side. So Kennesaw State executing that 2-on-1. That's number 18 crawling down the stake, Kevin Hampton.
Well, Todd, Kennesaw winning the battle of attrition right now as these two evenly matched teams so far as the bodies have been dropping from both sides. I do like how Gautier is playing on this snake side. He's not scared to get into that 50. He's got some kills out of there shooting towards the inside. That's what you want to do in the snake. You know, absolutely you have to deal with who's in front of you first. That's project one. But after that, the next step is if you don't have anybody in front of you or you're not getting a lot of pressure, then you need to get those shots cross field. Lots of awesome shots from the 50-yard line, the snake towards the center, towards the D side, the opposite side of the field. And Kennesaw really hadn't put any pressure, and that's a tactical flaw so far in the beginning of this match, is that Kennesaw has not been putting much pressure on the front player for the snake, but they are winning those gun battles eventually, and they maintaining the body advantage as you're looking at what happened on the D side there towards the end of the field. And they're in the snake, boom, getting run down. So we will be right back with more of this action here at the NCPA Championships. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here. We are now 2 points into this matchup between Kennesaw and Cornell. Kennesaw up 2-0 over Cornell with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the first half. But it's been a closer game than the score would dictate. Yeah, we're only 2 points in, but I really like how Cornell is playing on this snake side. Kennesaw is going to have to deal with that. They haven't really been pushing the snake off the break very much, which is totally fine as long as you're winning the points, which they are. They're doing a lot of work out of their bunkers right now, winning a lot of gunfights. That's huge. Yeah,
I mean, but you never want to put yourself in a position where you constantly have to fight back. We know because we watch this field a lot that this snake bunker is definitely a place where you can get in and control a field from. So, we're going to see if Kennesaw State changes up their game plan at all if they keep attacking because they're winning these points. But I don't know. We'll see if they're going to have success long term with these game plans.
Oh, Cornell losing their hopper, trying to get into snake one, but is able to stay alive, put his hopper back on. Here comes Kennesaw pushing into the inside part of the snake, right at that the boundary between the red and the yellow sides of the field. Now also Kennesaw getting up into the center 50.
Yeah, and the player from Cornell going out to that Dorito side corner got shot and drew a major. So Cornell now with a body in the box serving 2 minutes.
And he's finally got his gun up and his hopper falls completely off again. So big issues right now with the equipment on the Cornell side. Looks like he actually broke the feed neck off of his loader or from his gun, and he is going to get run down pretty nasty over here by number 45 from Kennesaw. That's Steven Torres.
Yeah,
that's always frustrating, man. And that happened right on the dive in. He dove in and literally, you got to be careful on the dives. You can't, the impact, you can measure your shoulder up that way. You need to be as graceful as possible, which is hard when you're running full speed and you're getting shot at. But when he dove in, he, hit his arm pretty hard, hit the gun on the grass, and that actually severed the feed neck from his actual part of his gun. And there was Torres in the snake. And you see Torres, he's at that 40-yard line, right there by the 50-yard line. And then on the flip side, ooh, dodged one right there. And then here comes that rundown as the last player left alive for Cornell. There's nothing, he was St. Peter, nothing he could do in there. Yeah, St. Peter.
Yeah, St. Peter.
I was going to say St. Peter.
Not only
St. Peter's patron saint was not watching over him in that point right there.
Yeah, St. Peter, he was doomed from the beginning after he lost his loader because, his player, they sent 2 bodies out to that Dorito side. One gets a major going to the corner, so everybody died over there, and then St. Peter's 2 bodies behind him both walked off, so he was just laying there with his hopper in his hand as Torres came to run him down.
Well, St. Peter is the patron saint of gun surgery, so Apparently, he didn't pray hard enough before the start of this match.
Definitely not the patron saint of diving. But
well,
coming onto the field right now.
Well, and you know, right now is the time for Cornell. They really can't let Kennesaw just start running away with this. And again, Cornell's not playing bad, but you know, they got that major. They were able to get some time off of it. Only a minute and 9 seconds left to go in that penalty. So, still a real bad start for Cornell. Maybe Amy has a little insight for us down there. What's going on down there, Amy?
Yeah, you mentioned he's going to have to do some gun surgery, and that is absolutely the case. It's not going to happen right now, though. He's back out there. He needs a fresh gun. They're working on that gun in the pit right now. Not sure if they're going to get it fixed in time for the rest of this day or if he's going to have to use this other gun for the rest of the day. Guys?
Well, thanks, Amy. And that's the thing. We talked about this in the open of the match. Todd's shaking his head over here. When you have depth in your pit, this is when it comes into play. If you have some major equipment malfunction and you don't have guys in there to help you fix that, it really starts to eat away at the power of your team.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier, Maddie. You know, having backup guns, having people wipe off hits, you know, all that stuff's important. And trying to go out to the Dorito corner again and getting shot again and continuing to play. Cornell is going to get a major on the Dorito side of the field, and their poor snake guy is going to get ran down. Yeah, Gautier. This time, I think it's going to be Gautier.
Yeah, Gautier was in there. He made it. You know, Gautier's doing a great job of getting to that 50, but he, you know, he had no idea. His face is in the dirt. He's trying to stay alive in there and get into position to start getting kills at center 50. So he had no idea that across the field, another one of his boys on the D side had got another major penalty. So now 2 major penalties for Cornell, and when that happens, it just smacks of desperation. You're down points, you're trying to push that envelope, and that's when those flags start to fly. Penalties are the same here as in the PSP, 1 minute minors, 2 minute majors. The minute penalties come off, those minors come off if you lose the point, but the majors will stay on regardless of whether or not you win or lose the point. So right now, Cornell going to be down 2 bodies as we're looking there on the replay. Nice job by number 22, Timmy Roberts for Kennesaw State, running down Gautier, who is last player left alive for Cornell. I do, like I said, I really like how he's playing in there. Gautier's getting into the snake well, but the rest of his boys not getting the job done. So with 5 minutes and 13 seconds to go in this first half, score is 4-0. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back here, 2014 NCPA Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. It's been all Kennesaw State so far. 4-0 is the score in this matchup here against Cornell. 5 minutes and 13 seconds to go. Cornell down a ton of points, and also they have 2 bodies in the box on those major penalties, so they need to get out and play clean here. You know, Todd, we've watched a lot of top-level pros really switch the way they look at penalties. A penalty can be an opportunity for you to switch the momentum, because if you come out and shoot 2 players off the break and, you know, the body count eat your penalties away, you get that point. Now, all of a sudden, the team that was on the power play now finds themselves like, oh my God, we should have been running up the score. So let's see if Cornell can actually do that. That's the preferred way to do it, but unfortunately for them, it looks like, did they get another penalty?
I'm not sure. I did not see a flag fly in the air, but I think that last red was changed to a yellow because Cornell actually started with 4 bodies, so that means if they got the minor, that last penalty, then 1 body came out of the box. So
we're looking at that penalty right there. I think this was from the last point. Yeah, so
I mean, if they got another major, then now they will be playing with 3 bodies. But it looked like they got 3 reds in a row.
Well, you saw the ref run in there, and you know, anytime you see the ref go in with force, running with some speed, and reaching for his pocket, you know a penalty's coming. And it's just Cornell's falling apart here at the start of this match.
Yeah, and if you're Cornell, maybe stop going to that Dorito corner.
Yeah, they have it.
Yeah. Not only are you getting shot there, going there, but you're earning penalties going there. Maybe pull up short. You know, a couple times in a row, pull up short. You know, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, another thing too is that if you continue to send a runner out to those back corner bunkers over and over again, and he's getting shot and you continue to do it, well, another thing that's happening is that the guy who's shooting you off the break gets more zoned in on that shot, more confident in that shot after each point that he's been able to do that. So, you know, it's a little switch up of some tactics right now might play well for Cornell, but ultimately, it looks like Kennesaw also with a major penalty there on that point, Todd.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's going to help out Cornell a lot if they can at least get one body from Kennesaw in the box, because, you know, Kennesaw, you know, just chopping them to bits right now. But, you know, the thing about Cornell is that they're making that snake on the break. It's the guys that are behind them that are dying, getting shot out of their bunkers. You know, you get a little protection for the guy that's making to the 50 snake every time. Let him do some work. You know, get him somebody in there that's going to be alive and just shoot their gun and protect him and allow him to do his job. You know, we've seen St. Peter, we've seen Gautier. Both of them really having no problem getting in there, but, you know, Cornell, you know, they got to stop getting these penalties. Well, you know, both teams starting with 4.
Yeah, which is going to help Cornell out. This is a big opportunity for them. But where the giant gap in what's going on their team right now is that D side of the field. That D side of the field is not getting out alive. This is 4 times in a row, Todd, that back corner bunker on the D side, and then now in the center. Kennesaw not able to. I'm sorry. Kennesaw's doing a good job of shooting them out of their bunkers, and here comes Kennesaw, number 22 for Kennesaw there. Timmy Roberts looked pretty good running through the center part of the field off that snake.
Yeah, Timmy Roberts looked pretty solid out there. You know, really fluid in his movements. You know, he's playing with that body language, like he's doing a good job of listening, hearing what's going on, and able to react to what his teammates are telling him. You know, Timmy Roberts looked like a pretty solid player for Kennesaw State.
Yeah, Kennesaw, Timmy Roberts for Kennesaw, the style that he's bringing to bear right now looking real good. But what that shows is that when you have a guy out there looking fluid in his style, one, he's been putting a lot of time in playing the game. He's been doing drills, he's played a lot of games, playing a lot of points, getting a lot of spins. And then the most important thing is when you see guys running static down the field, kind of with a little bit of hitch in their movements, they aren't putting the variables in front of them together. Because if you run with an intent, that's the most important thing, because you know where you're going, you know what you want to do, you know the move in your head before you make it. Regardless, it's been all Kennesaw, so 6-0 is the score. Still penalties on that clock, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back here. Kennesaw dominating Cornell right now, but both teams have penalties, so both teams going to be starting down bodies here with still 4 minutes to go in this first half, and then we'll have 10 minutes in the second half as well, as that's the way it's played here at the NCPA. It's a 2-half game, 10 minutes on the clock for both those halves. It's a little bit of switch from the race format that you're typically seeing here on a PBA webcast. But the thing is, Todd, is that Cornell is just dropping the ball on that D side like we were talking about before, and then we saw it again in that last point. They've really got it to get it up over there. They need to, first of all, when you're getting destroyed off the break, the biggest thing is, all right, let's get to some bunkers alive. And then just, I mean, that's, you know, the ABCs of paintball. And it looks like, I don't know, it must have been a little bit of confusion out here because Cornell did not put enough bodies out. It looks like they had maybe tried to call a timeout, and I'm not sure if they were able to get that timeout in.
Well, yeah, Cornell's in the box right now, you know, with their hands raised, like, you know, they thought they called the timeout, but Kennesaw State was fully ready. It looks like the referees might give them this point. The only guy that made it out on the field for Cornell was the player in the box.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get Amy Campbell down there getting a little. This is why, you know, we have our awesome sideline reporter, so we can get some sort of info down there when the chaos reigns. And you know, the thing with timeouts is that, and this is kind of goes to show you with the when we talked early on in the game, Todd, about how many players you have surrounding your program. If you have a deep roster, you know, it's important. So let's see if Amy does have some insight for us down on sidelines.
Oh, yeah, guys, I'm right in the middle of this mayhem that's happening right here, and they're all saying, we called timeout, we pushed the button, we've been calling it. I was standing here, they had planned on calling it this whole time, and for some reason there was some type of malfunction. But why they want that timeout is because they want to slow the game down, collect their thoughts. They're saying, you guys are getting shot out of your bunkers. It's too quiet off the breakout. You need to be shooting off the breakout, and if you're in the snake, get all the way to the 50. There's no excuse for hanging out in the back of the snake. We're too fast. We need to get all the way up there and establish that dominance. So just a few of the adjustments that they're trying to make, guys. We'll see if it works after this timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it, dead on right there. You use timeouts to collect your thoughts when you're getting the break speed off of you. You need to throw that timeout. They probably should have thrown it earlier than this because Kennesaw's running away with it. So it looks like they do now have a timeout. The score is 7-0, and we'll be right back after this. Well, welcome back here, Todd. It has been a very disappointing start for Cornell here in their matchup against Kennesaw State, as they are getting completely decimated in this first half. The score is 7-0. A timeout had been called. We got about a minute to go before this next point. Both these teams still with penalties.
Yeah, and you know, Cornell out there, lucky for them, you know, our scorekeeping staff over here was able to sort that out, because the last thing they needed was to give another free point over to Kennesaw State. But you know, let's see, you know, you take these timeouts, you regroup, you try and come up with a new game plan, but sometimes it's just to settle your guys down, give them a little bit extra break and all the madness. But you know, still playing with these penalties on the board. Kennesaw is going to come out of the box in 12 seconds. Cornell still got a full minute on their major, so at least Cornell is going to have the opportunity to break out 4-on-4, but Kennesaw is going to get a body shortly after that. But you know, Cornell's been doing a good job of getting into the 50 snake on the break. If you get in there, then you know you do have a good lane to shoot the guy coming out of the box. So you know, field awareness, you know, situational awareness for Cornell is to make sure that as soon as 12 seconds comes off that clock, you know, we got a guy shooting at the box, or at least a couple guys in position to have a shot at the guy coming out of the box.
Still, though, the biggest problem is no D-side pressure whatsoever for Cornell. They are finally able to make it out on the D-side back corner bunker alive and able to get into the snake again. That's been the bright shining light for them. But can Gautier actually get something done here in the snake 50? Oh, looks like he might have got a shot cross field. He did. Nice job. So this might open an opportunity for Cornell.
Yeah, 3 kills right away from this 50 snake structure for Gautier, as there's 2 bodies over here for Kennesaw State.
Yeah, but he's really got to worry about down that line right now, because you know there is a crack in that bunker a little bit, and he's coming up over there a little bit loader high. You can see the form there on the left-hand portion of your screen. You know, he's coming up loader high right there. See how he has that bottle on the top part of his shoulder, and as he pushes forward, he gets shot. Now, you know, stylistically, tactically, you want to put that bottle into your shoulder, not on the top, because it exposes a higher profile. So Gautier needs to tighten up a little bit there, but still, Cornell was able to keep bodies alive, get their guy out of the box, and finally get on the board.
You know, these Cornell players are not the most technically sound, but they're definitely fearless. You know, they're definitely making the moves that they need to make. You know, just not, you know, super solid in, you know, the way that they're, the fundamentals, you know, the way that they're moving up. But, you know, getting the job done over here, getting into that 50, you know, it's definitely a start. You know, he got those kills across the field on the Dorito side. You know, check out this replay.
Yeah, so there's the crossfield shot on Kennesaw, and then you see here goes Kennesaw trying to get in the 50-yard line, and here comes Gautier. He's going to come up and going to put that shot in on Wiley moved up. So, you know, hey, man, Gautier got it done in here before he got shot trying to move up. He had a couple. Finally, he got his boys to stay alive in their bunkers and win some gunfights.
You know, they started down. Surprising, they won that point. You know, they both started down a body. They broke out to that Dorito side corner again, finally made it, but stacked 3 bodies over here on the Snake side. And like you said, they were actually able to stay alive and kind of protect him, you know, as Gautier shot bodies off the Dorito side of the field. So, but Kennesaw State out of the box. I think Cornell was actually able to get enough time to get their body out of the box.
Well, Todd, let's look at this replay from another angle, a little bit of closer shot. And there was Gautier, was able to come over. And actually, what a nice kid. He actually shot the guy and then kind of almost like apologized. Oh, hey, man, sorry to shot you a bunch. But Gautier got it done in there.
Yeah,
and they need
Scott St. Peter, the other Snake guy.
They got it. They got to keep doing that. They have to keep getting. You cannot stop the attack on the Snake side. It has to be omnipresent. If you are not attacking on this Snake side of the field with this layout, you are not playing the game the way it needs to be played and putting yourself in the best position to win games. But you cannot forget about that D side as well. And that was the story at the beginning of the game, was Cornell getting penalties, as we've seen so far this morning and earlier on with the East Carolina Pirates and Liberty Flames. Lots of penalties in that match too. So any teams that are watching this, they need to understand the refs are on it out here, and you got to play clean to have a chance.
Oh, Yushik just barely misses the Snake runner on the break for Kennesaw State, but back into the 50. Snake again is Thomas Gautier, and he is going to find somebody in there with him this time, Tyler Whitehead, as Gautier just comes right around and makes short work of Whitehead. Another body dies out of the middle for Kennesaw State, so 3 bodies left alive now for Kennesaw State, but Cornell players getting shot out of their bunkers all over the place. There goes Yushik, there goes St. Peter, and that's going to open the door for number 45, Steven Torres, to get into the Snake over here for Kennesaw State and own it. You know, he's got Timmy Roberts over there too, coming through the middle.
Well, it was a great job by Torres to keep his head up, figure out what was happening on the opposite side of the field, and then actually contribute from that spot, because as soon as he lost his front guy, he was able to move up, do exactly what he's supposed to do and get in there, and he was able to get it done. So Kennesaw just handling Cornell right now. Cornell just, they don't have enough, man. They're losing the tactical battle. Both these teams finally have 5 bodies, though, so and that's super important. They must play the rest of this game as clean as possible. Penalties are going to come. You're going to get penalties. It's like any other sport, but you want to keep the frequency to as low as possible.
Yeah, you know, Maddie, you always talk about the 3 stages of the paintball game. You know, you have the breakout, how you set up your guns on the break and able to give yourself an early advantage. Then you have the second stage of the game, which is the middle part, where people are gun battling, making moves up the field. Then you have your third part, which is the end game. Right now, Kennesaw State, even though they may be losing part 1, you know, to Cornell, the breakout, part 2 and part 3 are being owned right now by Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State doing a good job of sorting out the bodies, communicating after the breakout, making moves, and then communicating in order to close the game out right now. And that's why they have a 7-1 lead over Cornell.
Well, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She is down in the pits with a little bit of info for us.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with James Yushik, and obviously you guys are struggling, not coming out the way you want to. Where are they giving you the most trouble so far in this game?
I don't think it's that they're giving us that much trouble. It's so much more along the lines of we're just not getting our guns up and not throwing as much pain as we really want. We're playing really methodical. We're not really getting killed off the break. We're just dying out of our bunkers, and that's just all on us. We're just getting a little bit camera shy, I guess.
So what's the message at halftime? These are the things we need to do to succeed in the second half.
I mean, it all comes down to throwing paint. There's a statistic out there that says the team that throws the most paint generally wins. So I think that's really what it's going to boil down to.
And how important is it having these Fresno State guys here in the pit to help you out?
They've really, really helped us out a ton. They've been a tremendous team. We just bumped into them happenstance and hit it off really well. So we're helping each other out, and it really shows what college paintball is all about. It really shows the kind of brotherhood and just a sense of community.
Great. Well, best of luck in the second half. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Amy.
Guys.
Well, I will totally agree with him that college paintball is awesome in that respect. There is a huge brotherhood out here. It's like friendly rivalries. It's not as antagonistic as it is in the pro leagues when you go to a big PSP event. However, I'm going to completely disagree with him and say that it is not just themselves. They're not just beating themselves. Kennesaw State's doing the second act and the third act of the three-part structure of a paintball game, Todd, like you were talking about, masterfully, way better than Cornell is. So, yes, they are shooting themselves in the foot by getting shot out of their bunkers, and I really feel having some tactical errors out there with some game plans. But Kennesaw is just playing better right now, and that's why the score's 8-1.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Kennesaw State, you can tell that they've been here before, that they're prepared, and, their players are just so much more reactive right now to what's going on. When you watch a game like this, you can see the difference in the two teams. When a team like Kennesaw, after the breakout, they get to their spots, they start looking, they're talking to each other, and then you watch Cornell University. When they break out to their spots, they have their primary jobs, and it's like when guys stick to their primary jobs too long. They're not reacting to what happened on the break. They're just like, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to, if I'm running to the Dorito side, I'm going to run to the Dorito side and shoot straight ahead. Not hearing, oh, I lost two guys behind me, or I lost my partner next to me. I need to make adjustments. Right now, Kennesaw State is just making adjustments a lot quicker on the fly, and like you said, that's the reason why they're up 8-1 right now.
Yeah, the adjustments is the key. You have to. Paintball is about seeing the variables in front of you, regardless of whatever your game plan was. Hey, man, when that break happens, what's going on in front of you, you adjust to that. It was a good breakdown, Todd. And we'll be right back here with some second half action. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back here. Second half action is about to commence between Cornell and Kennesaw. 8-1 is the score. And Cornell, hopefully they've taken this halftime break here to figure out what's been going on in the first half and hopefully fix their deficiencies on the D side of the field, understand that they are getting shot out of their bunkers. We listened to James Yushik, and he had talked about, yes, we understand we're getting shot out of our spots, and we really need to focus on those gunfights, that inner game gunfight, so crucial to victory.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying this entire first half, they're getting to their spots, just getting shot out. It's hard to throw paint like Yushik was talking about if you're getting shot within the first 15 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's right in that sense where, yeah, you got to shoot some more paint, but you got to be alive to be able to be out there pulling your trigger.
Well, a lot of that is a sensitivity to the streams, those incoming streams of paint. You have to kind of have that spidey sense when you're going to engage in gunfights. You can't just wildly come out of your bunker and hope to God the guy's not putting accurate shots back on you. And now the teams will switch sides. So Kennesaw will be on your left and Cornell on your right. So now Cornell continuing to get Gautier in the snake, and I love how this kid's been playing. He doesn't have the smoothest style, but man, he's definitely always the aggressor in there, fearless.
Yeah. Gautier is not scared to come and bunker anybody. And right there, looks like Kane dives into the 50, gets bounced, but also gets a shot across the field on the last Dorito player. Actually, I'm sorry, on the 40 Dorito player. There's still one body in that Dorito side corner. Looks like Ryan Kane right here, number 14 for Kennesaw State. Now in that gun battle, does he have any help with him? Yes, he's got one body over there in the small Dorito in the backside of the yellow section. So another 2-on-1 situation. This is where we've seen Kennesaw State, you know, about 3 or 4 times now. Just the way that they're patient, the way that they talk. You know, in the NCPA, you're allowed to have your coach walking back and forth here on the snake side, you know, to kind of let you know what's going on as well. So coach is communicating with the snake players, relaying that across the field. And Kennesaw State, once again, executing a 2-on-1 and going to put another point on the board. So,
well, yeah, let's check out this replay here as these guys are going to walk that point in for Kennesaw. It was just one player left alive. At least the good news is the back player stayed alive over there on that D side of the field, Todd.
Yeah, makes it in there. Is able to get it alive. But I mean, honestly, if I'm Cornell, I stop taking that spot. You know, it's been tough. They've got no productivity out of it. You know, so why keep going there?
Well, now the problem for Cornell is that Gautier got in the snake again. He did his job. He cleared the guy out in front of him, but there hasn't been any secondary presence. Their mid players, their twos. The twos have not been getting it done for Cornell. You know, they got Gautier in there. He's been running guys down, but they have to get somebody. You know, it's a 1-2 punch on the snake side. Your ones go in. Boom, they put the hammer down, and then your twos need to come in and clean up the mess after that. Cornell's not been able to do that, though they have had a good snake presence to start out these points. Regardless, the score is 9-1. It's been all Kennesaw. 8 minutes left to go in this game. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. So we are back here, 8 minutes to go, 9-1 is the score. It's been all Kennesaw. Cornell really showing their weakness, getting shot out of their bunkers a ton here in this game. And like we said right before the commercial break, just really no presence from their mid players, no presence from their twos, and they really need to step that up. Let's check in with Amy Campbell in the pits.
Yeah, Kennesaw State feeling pretty good about the lead that they've built up. I was talking to Timmy Roberts, and he was telling me they're probably going to kind of slow it down a little bit, try to save their energy for the rest of the day, because as we mentioned, depth is an issue for them. They don't want to be out there giving up all of their energy in this first match, so look for them to slow down the pace a little bit, be a little more methodical, and kind of let the game come to them, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. That's actually a really smart play for them. They are going to play a ton of paintball this weekend. You know, this is the main field, so all the games that are happening on field 1. But there's 2 other fields, and these guys are going to play a ton of points, play a ton of paintball in this 2-half format. And so, yeah, that's a very smart move from Kennesaw. Hey, get out of lives, roll your guns, take a little bit extra paint out there, and try to do it that way, because that can preserve your energy.
Kennesaw State trying to help Cornell out a little bit. Austin Burhouse came out and just laced his own guy up right in the back of the head, going out to that Dorito side. Here comes Gautier once again into that 50 snake, coming right around, trying to get the shot in on number 18, Kevin Hampton. But Hampton gonna save his life, but Gautier fearless again. I mean, you can't ask for anything else out of Gautier. I mean, he's running to the snake on the break every single game. He's either owning people or getting owned.
and on this layout, that's what's going to happen.
That's exactly.
We watched Vicious get to the finals. Todd, your team that you coach, made it all the way to finals, ended up losing to Los Angeles Infamous in Dallas. But a lot of it was helped out by Shane Colby doing exactly what Gautier is doing. Always getting to the 50, sticking guys or getting stuck every single point. And so that is the one bright shining light for Cornell. But unfortunately for that team, they are just having a really hard time keeping guys alive off the break. At least they haven't been getting penalties anymore, but they just are losing tons of gunfights.
Yeah, and in those situations, you know, we had Zach Sherman, Parker Rosenthal, Trevor Reeser, you know, doing a real good job of, you know, once Shane Colby got up there and did his job, filling into the snake, winning those one-on-ones, winning the high body situations. And, you know, that's what we're not seeing from Cornell over here after Gautier gets in there and does his work.
Well, let's check out this replay here. And here comes Gautier, he's like, look, I'm going forward. This is my job. He ends up getting eaten alive and gets taken out. But still, that's what he has to do is push forward. The timing on that particular move wasn't good. And then you see a lost gunfight right there, where Kennesaw just owning Cornell in a gunfight on that D side of the field.
Yeah, nice shot there by number 21, Cameron Enriquez of Kennesaw State.
Well, and that D side, that's a gunfighting side of the field. This snake straight trench warfare. It's going to be, you know, just tons of bunker moves. Everyone that's playing the snake's going to be wearing welts all weekend long. The D side is a little bit more finesse over there, and you really have to be able to read what's in front of you and what's happening. Because it's hard to make it out alive on that side off the break. So based on how many bodies drop off the break and how many bodies you're looking at, okay, well, that's going to dictate how quickly you can push forward, and then also what's happening on the snake side. But most importantly, you have to stay alive and win gunfights on that D side. Push up, but push up smart, and that is what Kennesaw has been able to do so far in this match, and that's why they're dominating right now 10-1 against Cornell. Because I wouldn't really say that they're, you know, Cornell is not doing bad in the snake because of Gautier, but Kennesaw is still doing a little bit better there in the snake because they have more depth. Todd, like you were saying, you know, Omaha made it to the finals. You know, Vicious was able to do that a lot. A lot of that was because of guys like Zach Sherman and Parker Rosenthal, your twos, who were playing awesome. They played really smart paintball. They were fearless. They were reading the variables well, and we just don't have anyone really doing that well on Cornell right now, where flip side, Kennesaw looking really good because they have a lot of depth. Their ones, their twos, and their threes, their front, mid, and back players across the board are stepping up and playing some solid paintball.
Yeah, and you know, Kennesaw State, they're letting Cornell in the snake every game. You know, Cornell, they're doing a really good job of getting in there, but they just know that they're not even worrying about that threat. They're just shooting out the bodies behind them, and then either letting that trade happen, or just coming to get him later. You know, as you know, we see Kennesaw State on the breakout again, finally getting a kill going to the snake and getting a kill going to that. Actually, a grenade just went off over here. Yeah. 3 bodies walking off the field for Cornell right away. And the other 2 raise their hands in unison as they come walking off the field together from that Dorito side of the field. So Kennesaw just chopped up Cornell on the break right there. So,
well, Kennesaw getting a really good drill set in right now, essentially, you know, because you're playing a team that you're really kind of beating up pretty well. You know, it's tough to maintain that internal fire because you already put 10, 11 points on the board. Let's check out the break here. You see Gautier there running towards the snake. They also have a player running up, and Gautier takes one here before he gets in, and then double knee slides. And because he was already dead, essentially, as the ref was calling him out, so he tried to slow his forward progression. Because if he had run in there hard, dove in, pretended like he wasn't hit, that would have been a penalty, and that's the last thing that they need right now. But just like you said, Todd, I don't know, maybe the Kennesaw State coach threw paint grenade on the other side of the field or something, because it just didn't look good that off the break on that point.
Right. I mean, you got to give it to Gautier too. I mean, out of the 11 points that we've seen out here, I think that's the first time we've actually seen him get shot on the break. So, I mean, finally trying to isolate Gautier and his attack. Kennesaw State right now actually hasn't hung this flag yet.
But this is smart. This is
smart with this big lead. You know, no need to run up the score necessarily. Both these teams do not have, you know, very large rosters. So, you know, with this move, there's no need to really run up the score. You can kind of save paint, save some of your players' energy.
Save your legs.
You know, we're down here in at Central Florida Paintball in Lakeland, Florida, you know, and this is actually very, very beautiful weather here for the NCPA finals. You know, as you know, if you've ever been to Florida, you know, it can get really hot and humid down here.
Yeah, it's a physical test to play long-form paintball in Florida. Though this time of the year it is quite pleasant. Sometimes we're getting, this is actually really nice paintball weather. It hasn't got too hot, not too humid, you know, and that really affects your endurance, obviously. You got all that gear on, you know, you have 2 halves to play and a lot of games, a lot of matches in front of these guys. So it was smart for Kennesaw. And we had actually heard Amy break that down as she had spoken to one of their players, and he had said, yeah, we got this huge lead. We're going to try to slow these points down. But we have 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Kennesaw dominating Cornell. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Lakeland, Florida at the National Collegiate Paintball Championships. Cornell losing 11-1 to Kennesaw State. And out here on this last point, just listening in on their pit, they're about to go out and just have some fun. But still remembering to play smart, remembering penalties can carry over to the next game. So to go out there and have some fun, shoot some people, but to not be stupid while they're doing it. Guys?
Yeah, Amy, absolutely. Don't be stupid when it gets fun. Like, hey, the game is about fun. These teams are out here to compete against each other, and they're very competitive in that nature. But at the end of the day, you know, paintball and all sports you play in college, I mean, these guys just want to have a good time. So now they're getting beat up real bad, so they probably switched up the positions a lot. Oh, hey, I've been playing the snake. Oh, I'll go play the D side now. But, yeah, they got to be a little careful with those penalties, as always.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Timmy Roberts over here looks like a ball player. Kennesaw State. Heads up, aware.
Yeah, quick gunfights, Timmy Roberts.
You know,
he's the only player left alive, I think, Todd.
Yeah, David Bros finally getting the spin over here, getting into the 50 snake, ran there on the break for Cornell. You know, he's looking at Timmy Roberts in front of him, but body's dying all over the place. And looks like Bros catches a face full of paint. Not exactly sure from where, but you know, we got Timmy Roberts over here. I think he's got Kane with him in the corner, number 14, Ryan Kane. And here comes Roberts into the 50 snake. One body right in front of him. Let's see how this pans out. Roberts gonna go ahead and decide to run him down.
Hey, Todd, I agree with you. Timmy Roberts looks like a ball player, man. He's quick, he's got great snapshot, looks like, you know, smart on the gunfight so far, and really fluid movements.
Yeah, so it looks like Kane's the last body alive for Kennesaw State over here in the snake side corner after that trade out over here on the snake side. So I think we have a one-on-one situation. Yeah, as Kane now moves into the mini race bunker, tough spot to be in.
Well, this is my favorite part of the game, is the one-on-ones, that and bunker moves, but we're gonna see, can Cornell pull this one-on-one off here? 2 minutes and 48 seconds remain in the second half of this matchup. Don't go anywhere, though. Next up after this, Fresno State Bulldogs and Connecticut Huskies going to be throwing down.
Yeah, that's Usyk over there, I believe, for Cornell. Yeah, saw the interview with him at halftime. Trying to get a point on the board for Cornell. You know, and Kennesaw State, you know, player Ryan Kane really doesn't have to go anywhere. He can let this one-on-one play out. You know, what he's going to want to do is just sit in his bunker. He's got his coach right next to him. He can the coach can tell him all of Usyk's moves, where he's looking, when he's coming. And, you know, if this was a closer game, then, you know, it might get a little bit more exciting. But really, you know, with just under 2 minutes left to go now, you know, Usyk's the one that's, you know, kind of got the ball in his court. He's the one that's going to have to step up and try and put a move on Kane. But like I said, it's going to be tough.
Well, I like the bunker set that Usyk's working with on that D side of the field as he pushes forward. He has another Dorito bunker in the yellow section. He can also back up and try to get, you know, to the another big D side bunker. He's also got stand-ups to work with. On the flip side, for Kennesaw, he doesn't have as good of a bunker set to work with in a one-on-one situation, but it doesn't really matter with only 1:20 seconds left. He's also got a really good shot on, most importantly, on the flag. So though better bunkers right now for Cornell to work with on that D side of the field, better field position actually is going to have to go to Kennesaw because he's right by the flag, and it's all about the flag. You know, one-on-one, you do not have to shoot the opposing player. You just have to grab the flag and hang it on the opponent's flag station. You get the point. So you rarely see that. It does happen. It has happened many times, but typically you will see the battle commence. Somebody will shoot somebody, then they grab the flag. But ultimately, you know, it's the strategy, you know, one-on-one, it's not complete unless you are taking that flag into consideration, Todd.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, you know, how much have both of these teams practiced one-on-ones? You know, with a pro organization, you know, it's a staple for practice and doing drills, you know, just practicing your one-on-ones constantly, because, you know, you never know when you're going to be the guy in your team that ends up in this situation and you have to put a point on the board for your team. You know, Yushik, you know, at the start of this game was like, hey, you know, any advice for a rookie team? I was like, man, there's so much that you can tell a team.
Did you say the salty veteran, like, yeah, just don't die or something like that? I'm sure that's what you said to him.
But Yushik right there takes the charge and runs down Kane. They're going to end up trading out. This poor Yushik's loader falls off his gun.
And it's going to do a little juggle move with it because he knows the cameras are on him. But regardless, he gives us a nod too. Yeah, no, it was well played, man. Well played in the one-on-one situation by Yushik. Let's check out the replay here. As, you know, Yushik, he's just going to close the gap and trade out. Actually looked like the drop might have gotten on him when he made that move out in the open. But regardless, and then you're looking on that snake side there.
Yeah, Burrows.
Yeah, when that point was winding down.
Yeah, there's Burrows getting owned.
Yeah, Burrows got just decimated out of that bunker. So nice work. Completely dominant performance by Kennesaw. They definitely are letting the rest of this NCPA field know that they came to play some paintball here, and they got to be one of the early favorites.
Yeah, both Liberty and Kennesaw State looking good first thing in the morning.
Yeah, real big wins for both of those teams. Though that first game, a much closer match when Eastern Carolina Pirates were just dominating in the first half, then the Flames came back. Regardless, though, that was a great game. This last game was quite the blowout, as we saw, but it was cool to see, you know, Kennesaw kind of emerge as a favorite here. But next up, coming at you, we got the Fresno State Bulldogs taking on the Connecticut Huskies. So don't go anywhere here. NCPA Championships. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez, and we'll be right back.